Every year, thousands of Brits leave the UK in search of a dream in Europe.
Look at that sunrise now, beautiful.
I could almost die and go to heaven, and this is what it would be like.
There's sunshine, scenery and a great quality of life. But all this has to be paid for.
Yes, we bought our house!
So to fund the dream...
This is part of our working day now.
Brits are jumping in and starting up businesses.
There's absolutely no way that we can host a wedding in this marquee.
On this brand new series, we follow a fresh wave of expats.
Just like a pregnant Hollywood star.
Running B&Bs and boats in Spain.
It's another day in the office.
Vineyards and villas in France.
One day you might be drinking that.
But will they make it? Or break it?
If we don't start getting bookings, it's going to be a bit of a problem.
It's going to be intense.
And will these new expats find happiness in the sun?
This could be a new life in the sun for us.
On today's show, with their own house renovations complete...
You had said a few years ago, would you have a view like this? I wouldn't have thought so, to be honest.
2 new winemakers tackle restoring a holiday gîte.
It's a lovely property hidden by decades of neglect.
Chaos at a French fishing lodge.
The Quagmire of France.
Plus a celebrity guest.
Our new people are due at lunchtime today. And when is Chris Tarrant popping by? Lunchtime today.
And a last-minute dash.
Spanish brickwork isn't the best.
For Benidorm's latest bar.
We need to get the doors open. The season's already started, so we're just missing out, and we need to start getting money in.
France is known around the world for its festivals. There's not a week that goes by without some party celebrating the great food and wine. Or the country's culture and history. Events like the annual Battle of Castillon, marking the 15th century war where the French defeated the English. Almost 600 years later, 2 Englishmen are trying to win over the French.
And that's Rob and myself's vineyard.
Okay.
For the past 10 months, Rob Brimfield and Steve McMahon have been running their 20-acre vineyard near the picture postcard village of Saint-Émilion.
It's beautiful, and we do have to keep telling ourselves we're very lucky to be enjoying this each and every day, aren't we?
Yeah, it is really. We're spoiled.
After months of renovations, Rob and Steve have finally moved into their new dream home. Once a dilapidated wreck, it's been totally transformed. It has a stylish kitchen, luxury bathrooms and the most amazing scenery as far as the eye can see.
It's a very envious view, to be honest. If you had said a few years ago, would you have a view like this? I wouldn't have thought so, to be honest. So it's a nice achievement.
With one beautiful home down, it's time to transform the old farmhouse, which was their temporary home, into 4 holiday gîtes.
They've started to rip out all the doors and the windows and the partitions and the ceilings and everything.
So they're stripping it back before the roof comes off and the floors get put in.
So this isn't our bedroom anymore. Yeah, bathroom's gone, ceiling's gone.
Wardrobes, lovely purple wardrobes have gone. I shall miss those.
They've drawn up detailed plans to make the most of every inch of this 200-year-old building.
Oh.
Or so they thought.
What's in there?
I don't know.
This is new, never seen this.
No.
What's in there, though?
I don't know.
Should I just kick it in?
No. Steve's always good at opening the cupboard but running off quickly just in case there's something in there he doesn't want to see. Oh, there we go. Absolutely nothing.
Could have been a stash of money or something.
A little safe or some vintage Pomerol wine or something like that.
So with no secret space to work with, it's back to plan A.
So this will be an all-in-one kitchen living room with a stairs popping you up to bedroom and bathroom above. So this is the old dining room. A little bit of work to be done to this one, but it will be a really nice sheet when it's finished. This will be a nice one, this one.
Rob and Steve are hoping to have the holiday gîtes completed in time for the next summer season.
We are slightly behind schedule, aren't we? We want it to happen now. We want the door in, we want the kind of the new concrete floors, everything. We just want it now.
It's a lovely property hidden by decades of neglect. So it'd be nice to give it the facelift it deserves, won't it?
Yes. We need these to be full from spring onwards to actually supplement the income as the wine is still in its early days as far as our sales are concerned. We're not after a lot, just enough so we can keep paying the bills.
With the building work costs continuing to rise, wine sales are now more important than ever. Being the newbies in town, they've spent the last few months marketing their brand with some success.
This is 70% Merlot, 27% Cabernet Franc and 3% Cabernet Sauvignon.
There we go. Hope you enjoy.
But now, after a busy summer season working the fairs and festivals, they're approaching the main event of the year.
It's all wonky, isn't it?
That's fine.
This is the biggest opportunity they have to welcome tourists to their vineyard and sell some wine.
If you have one visitor and they leave with a smile on their face and hopefully with a purchase, then that's great, we're happy.
But competition is stiff as they're not the only vineyard in the area opening their doors.
There's 19 different vineyards doing tastings all at the same time, so it could be a tall order, it could be, it could work out. We'll see. That's all we can do. Fingers crossed, hope for the best. I hope Steve sells more than I do anyway.
Why?
Because I intend to sell a lot.
Excellent.
So with everything crossed, it's time for Rob and Steve to welcome their first visitors.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
An English group keen to taste some blush.
So, that's our rosé, quite a pink one. We like a bit of colour in our rosé.
Please don't be offended if I don't like it.
No, that's fine. We think it's got a hint of old-fashioned pear drops.
I don't like rosé.
I know you're not a big one, are you?
Actually, I don't mind that one. I could sit and quaff.
It's mixed reviews for the rosé.
Thank you.
You're welcome, good to see you.
And the day's only visitors sadly leave empty-handed.
You always do feel a bit kind of, I like to thought they'd have bought a couple.
It's nice that some people turned up. A little bit disappointing no
Only
one
been
else
one.
did.
Yeah, the fact that it's an open doors event would have been nice to expected a few more.
At least we're participating and trialling every option, aren't we?
Well, yeah. I said the day's not over and we've got a whole day tomorrow as well, so...
Yeah. Sunday might be a better day for it.
It's a bad start for Rob and Steve. But can they turn things around and get some sales? In southwest France, the countryside seems to stretch forever. Houses here often come with a much lower price tag compared to the UK and at least a quarter of an acre of land.
The great thing about French properties is they're never short on space. There's always land around you. You can have as much land as you want.
170 kilometres north of Steve and Rob's vineyard, this beautiful 3-bed farmhouse has a stunning traditional kitchen, a homely living room and an impressive oak staircase. Outside, it gets even better. Not only does this property have a large child-friendly garden, it comes with 35 acres of land and 12 acres of fishing lakes. It cost £500,000 and would easily be worth £2 million in the UK.
Would you like to read us one of these books, Bella?
It's now home to Dan Bartholomew Oates, his wife Jody and their young family.
Did you remember when we first moved into the house and we'd get up and go and look out the window and because you can see for miles instead of the next houses on your estate or whatever? I used to literally wake up and think, oh, we're so lucky to wake up to this.
Yeah, definitely.
They took over an established carp fishing business with a stone holiday cottage, but so far they've struggled to turn a profit.
We have spent so much out, we've spent every penny out, every penny.
So to boost their income, they've built an additional luxury lodge especially for families.
Here we are.
Very nice indeed, isn't it?
And now have an angling journalist to stay to write a review.
Looks lovely. Good. Yeah, it looks lovely, Dan.
But the heavens have opened and he's failing to land a catch.
I get the feeling that Ken wants to write us a good review, but if he's not catching the fish, then, you know, there's only so much he can write about.
A few days later, the sky's clear. And down at the lake, Ken is starting to catch some beauties.
Hello, little fella. This is a wee babby. That's it. That's a nice fish. Whoa! Carp juggling. There you go, my love. Off you go. That's a baby. That's one of the nicest bits when you see them go back. Get more enjoyment seeing them waddle away than catching them.
And after even more success over the next 10 days, Ken's blown away by Jody and Dan's place.
It's been excellent fishing. Got 41 fish. A good high average, I would say the average has been around the £29 mark. The lodge is fantastic, it's lovely and it's perfect in every respect. Absolutely splendid.
But now there's a huge challenge for Jody and Dan. Running 2 lodges means twice the workload, and today's their first double changeover day.
We're quite used to changeover day because we've always done the one with the Napoleonic cottage, but to add the lodge into it as well is quite a big thing really for us, you know, to see how we cope.
And to add to the pressure, one set of guests have arrived early, hoping to catch a glimpse of Ken.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello, mate. How are you?
Very well, Ken. I drove through the night so I could meet you.
Good morning, mate.
John. Good morning. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fine. You should have a great time down there.
And with the fans' day made, Ken's off to write his review.
Right, bye, guys.
All right, see you later. See you soon.
And now Dan and Jody can start getting the lodges ready.
Do you know where the king-size mattress sheet is?
It's in one of those under-bed drawers, but which one? I couldn't honestly tell you, love.
It's not here.
It should probably still be in a packet.
Jody needs to do the laundry.
What colours would you like, Bella Boo?
I want gold something.
But they're starting to realise that juggling a young family and this bigger business is tricky.
They don't go away, these two. They're pretty permanent. OK, don't strip off. We'll put your apron on the top, OK? Every Saturday and Sunday, I don't get to do our own washing because I'm doing the lodge washing, so then as soon as I finish this, there'll be mountains of our own.
But soon it's Dan who has to prove he can multitask. The new guests need rescuing.
The quagmire of France.
And in the middle of rural France, there's only one emergency service they can call.
All part of the service.
It's just 1 week a year and it's just, everything's just null and void. It's great. Love it. And look at me, it keeps me young.
With one set of satisfied guests and another group on their way, Jodie's working hard on the little extras she hopes will make all the difference.
I do make sure everyone's at least got one homemade cake each week, sometimes 2, especially if they're here for a couple of weeks.
With a long list of jobs, this is just adding to the pressure.
It's going to rain.
It's literally just started raining, hasn't it?
But finally, 4 hours after Ken checked out, they're ready.
Yes, everything is done, I think, nearly.
Yeah, everything, bar a few snagging jobs, bit of washing, cake in the oven, guests to arrive. Jobs are good.
But just when they thought there were no more jobs to do...
This is what we're up against a lot of the time with, you know, we're doing the cottage cleaning and then we'll come back and one of them will be covered in paint.
With the business fully booked and their own young family to juggle, will Dan and Jody really be able to keep everyone happy? Over the centuries, Spanish cuisine has been influenced by cultures from across the world. Romans introduced wine, the Greeks olive oil, and the Moors brought the rice dishes that Spain is so famous for. In the tourist resorts, food is a multi-million-pound industry, and there are thousands of bars and restaurants vying for trade. But in Benidorm, two newlyweds from Birmingham hope there is room for something a little different.
I was in the construction industry, but I was just getting sick of it, you know, working for other people. And I thought, change, let's move to the sun and let's have a go.
Look at the beautiful sea behind us, you know, when we have a break at work, it's not nipping to the sandwich shop, you know, we could come for a walk along the beach. It's just quite amazing, really.
Martin Reeston and Dina Palmer have only just got married, but instead of a honeymoon, they've come to Benidorm to open a top-quality Indian restaurant.
We got married a week and a half ago, which was an amazing day. I think we were both nervous. We've been together for 7 years, and we had a business opportunity come up, and we kind of got married and came out here 2 days later.
They plan to open the restaurant just a week after stepping off the plane to begin their new lives, so it's a good job they aren't on their own.
Got a mixture of fresh and dry spices in here.
They're going into partnership with Dina's brother, Sunil.
Perfect.
He knows his way around a kitchen, but he's not a trained chef. He's a trained European consultant.
My mum taught me everything I know in the kitchen. We all went against our mother's wishes because she was like, don't mix business with family relationships. Do not do this.
We're like, oh, we'll be fine, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Benidorm is the most visited town on the whole of the Costa Blanca, with some 4 million tourists a year descending here. Now this family want a slice of the market and plan to open a restaurant merging Spanish and Indian cultures, and they want to open in 2 days.
We're big foodies, so we love food, we love Indian food, and we love home-cooked food. So what we thought of was take the style of dining of tapas, of little bits of sharing platters whilst having a drink, and taking that with Indian food.
Busy Benidorm should give them the custom they need. But for their home life, they've opted for a traditional Spanish retreat.
We live in a really nice village in the mountains, so we've opted to live out of Benidorm and come back to the hustle and bustle. And where we are, you can't walk to a shop.
It's nice to get away from here.
The selling point of their modernised 3-bed house is the outside space, and all this costs just €100,000. But they still have bills to pay, and with the season already underway, the family has set themselves an ambitious goal.
We're planning to open in 2 days, so Friday, Saturday, yeah. So we're hoping to open on Saturday, but there's a lot to do.
The time is just running out.
Haven't eaten, hour drive home. It's late nights already. It's tough. It is difficult.
These are heavy.
It's proving to be an exhausting introduction to their new life in the sun. But though Benidorm is a city that never sleeps, nobody can work around the clock for too long. As the new day arrives, the list of jobs doesn't seem to be getting much shorter. First task, put the name of the restaurant up.
We've got to get this done today because we are actually opening tomorrow.
Surely this is a piece of cake for former construction worker Martin.
Spanish brickwork isn't the best.
That looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's cool, man. The O's upside down.
With the work piling up, they've decided to take on some extra help.
How's it going?
Hi, Dean. How you doing?
You good? Very good, as always.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you.
Dean's just in time for his first team meeting. Hopefully it won't put him off before he starts.
Jobs left to do.
Wire up the CCTV.
Yeah.
Put the plates on the back of the speaker.
Unpack all the furniture.
Clean behind the bar.
More supplies.
Print menus.
So we're opening Sunday again?
No, tomorrow.
We'll just see how much we can rattle through, because there is a lot of stuff here.
Sunil and Dean head off to the market, but they may be a little late.
These aren't too great.
They're the best you're getting in Spain when it comes to lemons and limes at this time of the year.
These don't look that great either. We need to find some coriander. This is parsley.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have any.
With the restaurant due to open tomorrow, the pressure is starting to build.
We need to get the doors open. The season's already started, so we're just missing out, and we need to start getting money in.
If Sunil, Dina and Martin are going to open on time, they've got their work cut out. With food to prepare, menus to print, prices to set and countless other jobs, will they really be ready by tomorrow night? The Charente, southwest France. Dan and Jody are nervously looking out for a crucial review of their fishing business.
Scroll up then.
Where are we going?
Well, at the top, I'd like to read it from the beginning.
Journalist Ken has written a critique of their newly opened family lodge.
Personally, my missus and I found the lodge to be perfect in every respect. That's nice. OK, here we go. The lodge has a large kitchen and living area that is well equipped with all the comforts of home you could wish for. Finally, a word about Jody, Dan and the kids. A nicer, more welcoming family we have yet to meet. That's nice.
Yeah, really good review.
If what he says gets us even just 2 bookings a year, that's, you know, that's a lot of money on his say-so.
And it isn't long before the couple begin to see the benefits of a good review.
So, this is your accommodation. Bedroom in there, double sofa bed, shower room.
The Palmers have just arrived for a week's stay in the new family lodge.
It's like home from home, which will be lovely. It's beautiful. I'm really pleased.
They're with another couple, and it's all thanks to that glowing report.
The first time I heard particularly about this lake was an article I read by Ken Townley. And on the back of that, it just looked like a lovely place. So I thought there's an ideal opportunity for us to go abroad, take the kids, nice and relaxed. So it was one on the top of the list, really.
But the Palmers are not the only family here today.
Hello. Hello. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jody.
The Howards and the Searles have booked for a week in the cottage.
Come on in. There are 3 bedrooms and bathrooms. You obviously make yourselves at home.
These 2 bedrooms are pretty much the same setup. Both have got ensuite shower rooms.
It wasn't my sort of holiday when he come home and said we're going fishing. It's like, really? But when we actually looked at the website and saw what was involved and everything, then it was like, oh, it's not bad.
It is really, really nice.
But it seems with their first ever double family in, Dan has dropped the ball and there are still a couple of jobs outstanding.
I've still got the barbecue to clean and I've got the hot tub and stuff to tidy up.
What, here?
Yes.
Dan and Jody have been invited to a local street party and don't want their girls to miss out. Yet again, they are feeling the strain of running a business with having a young family.
You've come on the one day in the year that the Hamlet have a street party. But because I've told Bella that we're going, it's hard to break what I've told her. But that does mean, I ought to say, that there'll be a slight delay in Dan cleaning your hot tub and barbecue. Will that be okay?
No worries at all.
Crisis averted and guests appeased, it seems Bella will go to the ball after all.
How do you say goodbye?
Ava.
Good girl. How do you say thank you?
Merci.
Good girl.
And that's about the same as our French, really. Yeah.
Not too much different.
Apart from ordering plasterboard.
The party is a chance to get to know their new neighbours.
Oh, elles sont belles. Bonjour les filles. Bonjour.
To share food, wine and bon ami.
We don't really speak French, but this is the welcome we get. And to be honest, we've never had this welcome from our neighbours in England, have we?
No.
Or our friends, for that matter.
Dan and Jody drop off a homemade gift to their new friends.
Vodka, limon, sucre.
Magnifique. Oh là!
Super bon.
Ouh là là! Oh mon Dieu!
Au revoir!
Before bidding adieu to get these 2 sleepy girls to bed. A week later, it's the last day of the holiday. for the lodge's first family.
It's been lovely. I know the men have been down fishing, and the girls had some fishing rods out as well. So we fished and we were showing them how to cast out, and the guys were showing them how to do it. So that was really nice.
The swimming pool is so big, I didn't think it was going to be this big.
And time also for the other guests, the Howards, to say goodbye.
Ready for off?
Yeah, well done, Dan. It's a great trip, mate.
No problem.
Superb.
Well done.
Definitely be back.
It's been lovely. The place is well big enough for all of us. It's been lovely.
Plenty of wine, plenty of sun, plenty of fishing.
It's been a successful week for Dan and Jody, with the properties full with families for the very first time.
When you've got newbies that are turning up and sort of falling in love with the place, much like they've done, it's fantastic.
They can now say they have finally broken into the family market. July in Benidorm. It's the peak of the holiday season, with thousands of tourists all ready to spend their hard-earned cash. Competition is fierce, but Martin Reeston, his wife Dina and her brother Sunil believe their family has the recipe to success with their new restaurant.
Perfect. I've always liked a good curry and tandoori stuff, chops and things like that. And when I met Dina, she cooked me a curry, and it was amazing. It was so good.
But the restaurant is a long way from being ready for today's opening.
That can't be there. That needs to be there, man.
That can't be there.
Well, why don't you put these there? You can put a table here, Mark, because it's not really an entrance.
Yeah, but it's just too busy. You've got to walk in and walk around everywhere.
Mark, you need more seats. If you came to a restaurant and the food was good and they said, that's your table, I'd be like, sweet, thanks a lot there, lovely. Cheers.
We wanted to open in half an hour, but I think we're going to have to give it a couple of hours.
So if you want to, are you staying long? Do you live in Benidorm?
No.
You're on holiday?
Not on holiday.
Oh,
yeah, pop by later on.
Sunil is hoping to serve quality Indian tapas with the help from new recruit Dean.
Siesta time, isn't that? We not just talk about siestas
There's
or 2
no
minutes ago?
siesta here. We're on Bombay clocks here. You can have a minute's break for every 12 hours you work.
But time is ticking away.
We were due to open for about 4 o'clock today, but I think that's going to be a little bit optimistic. So I think we'll be opening up early evening, round about 7 o'clock if we're lucky, just to catch like the start of the evening trade.
They're using family recipes to hopefully give Noir a home-cooked flavour.
The wings are quite good, actually.
I haven't got the wing yet, but the chops are amazing.
Chicken's just right, yeah. It's nice.
Lamb's good.
Do you reckon you can do this in the kitchen?
Yep.
Yeah? Gotta make us proud tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get any customers.
They won't get any customers if they don't get the doors open quick. But finally, after a couple more hours of elbow grease and teamwork, they are ready to go. Well, almost.
Time now is 7:30. It'll be great if we can open up in the next half an hour. Then we've got one major but outstanding task, which is a little one, but we're almost there, is getting the menus printed.
They've arranged to get the menus printed at a newsagent across the street. But there's a problem.
I think it's too small. Yes, and it's too small.
Yeah.
I think we need to make it big. We have to send it back to you, if that's okay. I'll go back, make it bigger,
and
then come back.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Eventually, the menus are printed, and 2 hours behind schedule, Noir is finally open for business.
Here's the dream team at the Dream Bar. Cheers.
Nervous, very nervous, but it's quiet outside today. Very quiet. I think it's going to set up.
Tonight marks the beginning of a shared dream, but have Martin, Sunil and Dina done enough to tempt the tourists inside? At Rob and Steve's vineyard, it's the second day of the annual open door event.
OK, all ready.
And they're hoping for a better turnout than yesterday.
Morale does get a little bit of a kick when not a load of people turn up as you would have expected.
They're competing against 19 established vineyards, so selling will be tough.
I won't let anything get me down. I'm a fighter. Hello, I'm Steve. I'm the proprietor here.
And things are looking good. They have some customers.
OK, so this is our tasting room.
So this is the 2014. Yeah. It's a French wine. It wants time. Yeah. And that's the only thing.
It has a really good lasting taste on your mouth after you've finished drinking the wine.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of fruit.
Yes.
A lot of time. The oak is too present.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's a nice balance with the two. Yeah.
6. Okay, that's lovely.
That's 12 bottles of wine in the bag.
Be careful of the step.
And now there are more customers.
This is our main one.
Nice, very nice.
If you opened a bottle, no, it can't stay open. 6 bottles of the red is €39.
Over the weekend, Steve and Rob have a steady flow of visitors.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you.
Don't forget the box. He's going.
And managed to sell dozens of bottles of wine to some happy customers.
Thank you.
They've gone away very happy. Hopefully they'll be regular visitors, and you know, that's what you want really, is to build somebody that's going to come every couple of months, buy a case of wine. If you have a few hundred of those, you're happy. We'll get there.
And on top of all this, they have UK merchants interested in stocking the wine too. But now they have to turn their attention to next year's crop. Over the summer, they've worked tirelessly on their vines.
See, all the nice vines are there. That's pretty, that is.
Because how these grapes grow is the difference between success and failure.
There are some very big financial risks with your harvest. If it doesn't work, you're looking at thousands gone just through a silly mistake.
And Rob and Steve's first fear could be coming to fruition.
We've got a really good crop. It's just they're a little bit small for what we want at the moment.
Rob and Steve have spent the last year tending to the grapes, but they're always at the mercy of the weather, and it seems the long hot summer has caused a problem.
You can see the grapes are formed beautifully. You can pick them off and eat them. They're perfectly delicious at the moment. So what they need is a rainfall, good rainfall, so that the water can come up through the plant and into the individual grapes and plump them up.
With everything riding on a good harvest, this is a critical time for the couple.
Within the next few weeks, we're going to have to harvest them, regardless of whether there's rain or not, because they'll start to dry out. If they start to dry out, then we'll have to harvest without any rain, which means we'll have a lower juice production.
Well, you could be up to 20% down on juice. At the end of the day, that transfers into bottles of wine. For some people, that's the difference between profit and loss.
Rob and Steve face a nerve-wracking wait.
Come on, Branston, bring on the rain.
We'll do the rain dance.
And though Steve tries to be positive,
nothing.
Without some rain, their future in France may not be as rosy as they'd hoped. In the Charente, it's a big week for Dan and Jody. They're expecting a visit from an angling documentary presenter that could boost their bookings.
He's a big name in the angling world. Anyone who knows anything about angling knows Bob James. So he's a good chap to have on side.
If you get these people singing your praises and stuff, it's what you want, isn't it? If famous anglers are saying, look, it's brilliant here, you're going to get the business.
So Dan and Jody want everything to be perfect.
Already this morning, I found a pet mouse that's been roaming the house free for the last 2 days lost. That was how I started the day, and it's kind of continued along the same veins.
And they certainly don't need any surprises today because Bob's partner used to be a hotel inspector.
The people that have just been in must hold some sort of record for the amount they've drunk this week.
And the pressure to impress is starting to take its toll.
I think I'm going mad, aren't these hours? These are hours. I'm just making laugh. Look at me like that.
But by the time Bob, James and his family arrive, Dan and Jody are ready.
Oh, nice to see you too.
Yeah, it's nice
so nice to meet you. Hello.
I've been in there a few times. Oh my goodness. I used to be a hotel inspector, and so when I go into property I'm looking at how the quality is, and you know, it's fabulous.
That's a thumbs up from Bob's partner Jane. Now it's up to the fish.
Good morning, Mrs. Scott.
And since Bob's one of the best in the business, it doesn't take him long.
One beautiful French carp, and beautiful French sunshine, and a beautiful French lake. Say goodbye, Bob.
Today there's some more exciting news though. Bob has invited a friend, TV host Chris Tarrant, to take a look at the new lodge and fish. His visit could generate a lot of business. 5 years ago, Chris was at a nearby lake and made a big booking.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. He sort of went there, loved it, and wrote the guy out a cheque for the same week for the next 5 years. So those 5 years are over, so now I need to fetch him over here so he can go, oh, this is really nice, Dan, here's the cheque for the next 5 years.
Jody and Dan can't wait to meet Chris, but he's arriving at the busiest time of their week when guests are coming in and checking out.
It's a Saturday and it's...
It is a Saturday and we do have the largest number of guests coming ever.
Yeah.
And obviously our new people are due at lunchtime today. And when is Chris Tarrant popping by? Lunchtime today.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Bob, Dan and Jody need a way to give their celebrity guest a private tour before any guests check in.
Because otherwise it'd be hopeless, wouldn't it? If I take you in the lodge and they're all in there, it'll be answered.
Dan's idea is to ask the new guests to relax in the garden before checking in.
This might not be ideal, but we've got the bounce castle and stuff like that. You might want to invite them round here for...
Yeah.
I know that's
But
not
that's
nice
fine,
for you.
but I would quite like to meet Chris Tarrant myself, rather than be babysitting other people's children.
Okay.
A couple of hours later, this week's guests arrive.
Hi mate, I'm Dan.
They've come all the way from Lincolnshire and are keen to start their holiday. But Jody has to explain why they can't. This could be awkward.
So it's a bit of an unusual one today, and I'm really sorry to put this on you. But Dan was naughty to say it was all right to come early today, weren't you?
Oh great, thanks. Blame it on me.
Well, we didn't realise the timing, to be fair, did we? But Bob James is a very well-known carp angler. He's just been here for the week with his family and friends, and he's picking up his friend Chris Tarrant from the airport and would like to show him the lake and the place. If, you know, it's a lot to ask, but if you wouldn't mind just staying out and unpacking your bits just for a little bit longer so you can have a look round.
It'll be fine. They'll have fun.
Thank you so much.
That's all right.
Phew! And it's just in time because it isn't long before Bob's back with his famous friend.
Hey Chris, I'm Dan, nice to meet you.
If Chris likes it here and word spreads, it could be a massive boost to this business. In Benidorm, brand new Indian restaurant Noir has finally opened its doors for the first time. Owners Dina, Martin and Sunil have been dreaming about their new stylish business for weeks. But it's turning into a bit of a nightmare.
See, look, they're like looking, so you should go and chat to them. You don't do that.
It's time to tout for some business.
Looking for someone. Let's see if I come in.
Noir has a high-end image, but this minimalist look is failing to tempt the tourists away from the town's more traditional spots. Time for some direct action.
Yeah, I'm not really comfortable with approaching people in the street. It's not my thing really, but you got to try and get some people in and see what happens.
But maybe some Indian tapas can tempt in the customers.
So, Dean, this is the first recipe we're going to do. Put some oil in there first, as we did, and then we'll just stir-fry it off, and then add cabbage and the carrot, and then a bit of lemon at the end.
Excellent.
And as the aromas of curry drift into the air, Martin finally gets his first sale.
That's our first customers, yeah, my hand was just... It's so fizzy, it's just too fizzy that one.
But his first customers don't order any food, and it sets a pattern for the rest of the night. It seems most people come to this part of town to drink.
Hiya, lads. What are you doing? Where are you going?
Don't know. Oh, no, we'll just pick something to eat. Then we're off.
This restaurant.
And even those who want to eat are confused by Noir's slick shop front.
No fail, epic fail. Hiya, guys. You're right. You're off out for a drink. Hello. You okay? You English or Spanish? Do you want to come in for a drink? No? I'm not sure we're going to have much luck doing this tatting tonight, so it might be okay in the morning when it's like people want to sit in the sun and have some food.
Opening night has been a total disaster. They haven't sold a single dish, and Dina thinks she knows why.
No one knows what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we could do is get a board made up tomorrow, write the dishes down and put it in front of the bar, because when you walk by it looks like a bar, people might not know it's a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we do that tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
As a new day dawns, the family have been thinking hard about how to keep their dreams alive. And Dina thinks she has the answer.
One of the things we've noticed around here is everything's very visual. The people that come here like visuals. I mean, our bar is quite simple. As you can see, it's all white with very small text and quite subtle. However, we've quickly learned that we need to put our menus on a big blackboard for people to see.
The family decide they must work on their image if they're to survive the summer. But will this be enough to get the customers through the doors? Next time, it's D-Day at Rob and Steve's vineyard.
We're desperately in need of some rain to get a little more juice into the fruit.
But will the season end on a low?
Keep everything crossed that our hard work pays off and we don't have nature coming and sticking the boot in right at the end.
Will Chris Tarrant...
It's very nice, but can we go and see some fish?
Give the fishing lake the thumbs up.
The noise level? Well, not from you asking silly questions, it's very quiet.
And can a brand new image...
We need this up because obviously we need the people in.
Secure Noir's future.
Maybe Benidorm's ready for it, maybe it's not, only time will tell.
It's a dream chased by thousands of expats, setting up new lives in Europe.
It couldn't be any different than Scotland.
I feel like I've just been born.
There's great weather and property is amazing value.
Something like this in the UK would be well out of our reach.
But nothing in life is for free.
Look at that swimming pool.
Yeah,
wow.
way too much money.
So to pay their way, enterprising expats are aiming high.
That was amazing.
And going into business.
Gracias.
On this series, we're with a new group of Brits.
Pick up a little bit of French along the way. Bonsoir.
Setting sail and serving up in Spain.
Always happy customers here.
Running fishing lodges and B&Bs in France.
Oh, door's not on.
But will business boom? Or go bust?
We are quite literally dead in the water.
And will these new expats find happiness in the sun?
So proud of you and what you're setting out to do.
Today, it's D-Day for France's newest winemakers.
We're desperately in need of some rain to get a little more juice into the fruit.
But will the season end on a low?
Keep everything crossed that our hard work pays off and we don't have nature coming and sticking the boot in right at the end.
Will this TV celeb
It's very nice, but can we go and see some fish?
give this fishing lake the thumbs up?
The noise level? Well, not you asking silly questions. It's very quiet.
And can a brand new image
We need this up because obviously we need the people in.
save an ailing restaurant?
Maybe Benidorm's ready for it, maybe it's not, only time will tell.
For anyone dreaming of a new life in France, there are plenty of opportunities that won't break the bank. Running a gîte or B&B is generally the most popular, cost-effective choice.
Bon appetit.
This stunning 4-bedroom home is on the market for €500,000 and comes with 2 gîtes in an area that's perfect for holidays.
This area's popular with the British, one, because the climate's great, it's easy to get to is the main thing, because we've got flights into 4 different airports within an hour of here. You can sling your dog in the car and the kids and get here in a few hours.
There are also those dreams that sound pretty unachievable, like running a vineyard with no experience.
You cold?
Yeah.
But 2 former estate agents are proving that with hard work and dedication, anything is possible.
Seeds going nice and brown. Look like it, don't they?
Steve and Rob bought this 20-acre estate and vineyard and have renovated a dilapidated house into a stunning new home. And they're now busy turning an old farmhouse into 4 self-catering gîtes.
You've got that lovely shot in the morning when you open the window, the sun's shining, the birds are singing, you smile as you look across the vineyard, and the pneumatic drill starts.
It's now September and gîte renovating is taking a back seat as grape harvest is looming.
See, all the nice vines are there. That's pretty, that is.
But the long hot summer has left the fruit smaller than they hoped, and smaller grapes means less wine.
We're desperately in need of some rain to get a little more juice into the fruit because they're ripening fast. Until we get some rain, we won't be able to harvest.
Steve and Rob had hoped to improve on last year's yield of 3,500 bottles which they bought with the vineyard. But if conditions don't improve, that dream could be over. 6 days later, and their wishes have been granted.
It's a bit muddy.
Leaving the couple in great spirits.
Last night we had really terrific thunder and lightning storms with a good quantity of rain, which was great. We've been waiting and waiting for it.
The real grey cloud started rolling in at real speed. It was a scary Wizard of Oz. I expected the house to fall on my sister, to be honest.
And the rain has already had the effect they were hoping for.
That's plumped up just from last night's rain. See, that's lovely. Lots of juice coming out of that.
It should be beneficial, and that's what we want. Another couple of days of showers, which hopefully are coming. It's really gone muddy in between there quite quick, isn't it?
And it's not long before they do come.
Loving the weather. I wouldn't think I'd ever say that. The grass will soon go green again, the grapes will plump up, and it'll be a nice prelude to autumn.
With the grapes plumping up nicely, Rob and Steve need to get ready for harvest by cleaning the 60-year-old wine storage tanks.
This is our cellar.
What we call the shay?
No, we're English, so we call it a cellar.
Steve doesn't like it in here. He just doesn't like it. And if there's somebody else daft enough to do it.
And though this this looks like menial work,
Just give it a bit of water.
it's a vital part of production.
You can't risk producing wine in an environment that's not spotless.
Same principle as making wine at home, but on a much different scale. Losing a Jemmy John of wine isn't a big thing, but losing a vat full of a few thousand bottles worth, ooh, slight different risk involved. So getting it right's important.
With the equipment ready, all they need now is for the weather to continue to play ball.
The team includes Mother Nature and us. So if she's looking down on us, I don't think anyone can knock the work that we've put in. Keep everything crossed that our hard work pays off and we don't have nature coming and sticking the boot in right at the end.
The Costa Blanca, famous for its sun-drenched beaches and busy tourist towns. But step away from the hustle and bustle and the hillsides reveal some hidden gems. Traditional Spanish villages dotted with country homes that represent amazing value for money. A 3-bed property can be bought for as little as €80,000.
This is going to be hilarious. Are you ready to teach me?
I'll try my hardest.
It helped persuade newlyweds Martin Reeston and Dina Palmer to leave Birmingham to run a restaurant in Benidorm.
Yes! That was awesome.
I can't imagine going back to my old life now. It's very different, you know, getting up in the morning, getting onto the motorway or going to a meeting, prepping the night before. It's quite nice just to do something different. It's just amazing living in Spain.
Martin and Dina live in the picturesque village of Madeira in a 3-bedroom home with Dina's brother Sunil.
What I love the most is like when you wake up and then you just look at the view outside the house and you've just got like the olive vines, almond vines, grapevines and then the mountains.
But the view isn't so sunny at the restaurant after launch night fell flat. So it's time for a rethink, and Dina believes their clean-cut minimalist image could be to blame.
One of the things we've noticed around here is everything's very visual. The people that come here like visuals. I mean, our bar is quite simple. As you can see, it's all white with very small text and quite subtle.
To fix the problem, they have enlisted one of Benidorm's most famous signwriters.
See that one there?
Yeah.
That's one that I've done.
Originally from Yorkshire, Flash Harry Bird has a near monopoly on the chalkboards in Benidorm.
So this is your text, basically, and what it would look like. So that looks perfect, actually. It looks neat, presentable, and a lot better than what I'm capable of.
Oh,
so hopefully tomorrow we'll be selling loads of stuff because of your board.
Tomorrow you'll be on the
Lovely.
map.
Thank you. Thanks
All right,
a lot. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bright and early the next morning, Flash Harry arrives with his wife to write the new signs, followed a few minutes later by his clients.
You either need to set off early or set your alarm early.
Now Flash Harry can get on with the job. It doesn't take him long, but the results are definitely eye-catching.
There you are, my love.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's mint.
Okay, bit of karaoke.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. We need this up because obviously we need the people in.
I love it. Goes with our colour theme, so it looks really good.
And just 2 days later, business appears to be on the up.
It's definitely worked. Before we had no one coming in. I actually spoke to Sunil, who stood over the other side of the road, and I said, do you realise we have nothing up there that tells anybody what the place is?
Finally, the kitchen is a hive of activity.
Mark, can you do service?
The food, it was fantastic. It was the best food that we had in Benidorm so far.
And as night falls, trade is starting to pick up.
It's run a bit bonkers here.
preparing the dinner for the bunch of 8 lads.
It's a lovely place to come to, I'd say. Comfy, you can come in, you can chill. I just really love that kind of thing, yeah.
But despite the positive feedback, the bar is still not out of the woods. Even though there's a steady stream of customers, it's not bringing in enough cash.
First few days was difficult, ups and downs, lots of ups and downs actually. The highs and lows around about are immense.
The harsh reality is that they're not making enough money. It's time to cut costs. Before opening night, they hired a trainee, Dean. Now they've had to let him go.
It was a shame, but we had to make a decision, and unfortunately we had to, it was a hard one, but Dean had to leave.
But that might not be enough.
So sometimes it's disheartening when we see that the other bars are quite busy and we're quiet, but then they have been here for a long time.
With the bar not making enough money, the family know they must do something if they're going to keep their dreams alive.
A lot of people think it's just a restaurant, so we need to get out the message that we're a bar as well as a restaurant.
That's what we've learnt about Benidorm. Everybody wants everything obvious, you know, they have picture menus, you know, for pizza.
So we need to maybe look at signage outside.
It's a very steep learning curve at the minute for us, and maybe Benidorm's ready for it, maybe it's not, only time will tell.
For anyone wishing to embrace the alfresco lifestyle, southwest France offers a bit of everything. The landscape and the climate combine to create a perfect backdrop. And here in Tarrant, the gentle river waters are ideal for sports like canoeing, kayaking and paddleboarding. Not to mention bobbing about on a pedalo. It was partly a love of the great outdoors that persuaded Dan and Jody Bartholomew Oates to leave Southampton and move here with their young family.
If I said tomorrow that I wanted to go home, you'd be devastated, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You love it,
definitely,
don't you?
Yeah.
For them, this is the perfect environment to raise their daughters, Bella and Beau.
I think there are builders and bankers that will earn a lot more than we do. But if you're after a family lifestyle rather than just pounds in the bank, then I think it's a really lovely thing to do.
Dan and Jody have invested everything in a fishing business that includes a stunning 3-bed home with 35 acres of land, 2 fishing lakes and 2 self-catering properties.
Hi mate, I'm Dan.
Today they have new guests, but have asked them to wait before checking in because a famous visitor has dropped in to look around.
Hi, Chris, I'm Dan. Nice to meet you.
Keen angler Chris Tarrant regularly fishes in France and is checking out the lake for a potential holiday next year.
How long have you been down here, Dan?
2 years this month. Yeah, and loving it. It's it's lovely. For us, it's a complete change. I was in the Air Force as a helicopter engineer, and Jody owned care homes for the elderly.
So what did you go, anyone will do? I'll buy a cart lake in France. How did you do that?
I have no idea really.
Chris gets a grand tour.
This is the new place that we've just finished.
Yeah, cool, this is
literally
nice.
a couple of months ago.
It's lovely. It's better than home. It's really nice. I mean, I love French stonework and stuff, and what you can do down here with properties is brilliant. Yeah, it's good.
But fishing fan Chris isn't really here to admire the decor.
So, very nice. Can we go and look at some lakes now, please?
Important bits.
Look at fishing. I fished since I was a little tiny boy. And then, you know, World War I came along, the trenches, the Somme. Fished for all that. Yeah, no, I've always fished since I was a kid.
Chris has been fishing in France for years, so he's not easy to impress.
Cool, what a nice lake.
But it looks like he's hooked.
The noise level, apart from us. Well, apart from you asking silly questions, it's very quiet. It's lovely, it's beautiful.
Dan and Jody are hoping Chris will be booking a stay at the lodge when he gets back to the UK, and the signs are good.
I do think you're probably both slightly mad, but good luck. No, you've done brilliantly. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Yeah, definitely.
Next time with my fishing.
Yeah, that's
good,
the
good.
thing.
That's
Come
the
and get
aim,
him to
isn't it?
actually fish.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
With a potential future guest gone, there are now more pressing matters, welcoming the guests who were asked to delay check-in while Chris had his private tour.
Oh, wow, look at the space. Lots of room to run around in. Look at this.
Around in there.
Wow, she said wow.
Luckily, the guests didn't mind hanging about, especially as Dan and Jody have put some treats in their fridge.
Oh, great. I'll put some beers in there. I'll put you a bottle of champagne in there. Oh, nice one.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's lovely. It's ideal for us while they're fishing, because the girls can go in the garden and use the pool and jacuzzi and everything. So yeah, it'd be great.
Check-in done. The family end the day on a high. But the good mood doesn't last, because a few weeks later there's some news that could spell disaster for the business. A blue-green algae is spreading across the lake.
I am one of the more laid-back individuals, but this sort of thing is a big worry for us. I mean, something like this, if it does get across your whole lake, it can wipe out your whole stock.
At Rob and Steve's new vineyard, it's the biggest day of the year.
So the machine's just started picking the grapes now.
Finally, after months of looking after the vines, today's the day they'll find out if all their hard work has been worth it.
Still dark, vehicles turn up, still wiping sleep from the eyes, thinking it's not 8 o'clock yet. But hey, they were here.
Rob and Steve have almost 5 acres of vines to harvest, so they've hired in specialist contractors and machinery for the job.
That machine that's going up and down the rows at the moment, that's sucking all the good grape within its calibrated area. It shakes and goes like hoovering away.
But these machines can't pick every bunch. And being a small vineyard, each grape counts, so they're going to have to get stuck in too.
So you can see here there's some low ones that the tractor's missed. They're perfectly good grapes, so we don't want to waste them. The big vineyards can afford to leave these on the vines and not bother about them, but for us it's part of our small harvest, so we don't want to miss anything. There we go.
The tractor driver is making short work of harvesting the vines.
He's leaving a few too many behind.
Rob and Steve have their work cut out.
That's a couple of bottles, isn't it?
Trying to keep up.
Get wasted if we didn't do this. If we're not careful, the tractor will get too far ahead of me. The little straggly ones, we don't bother with them, but any bunches we need to take. This is just from 2 rows. So if you imagine if we left them behind for the whole vineyard, makes a difference. That's 4 bottles of wine. Oh, my back.
After a couple of hours, pretty much half the vineyard has been harvested.
You've got all the stalks, you've got all the leaves, all the branches, and the machine comes out with pretty much only grapes. It's amazing, really.
Rob and Steve are hoping to improve on the 3,500 bottles they purchased with the vineyard.
You know what I think?
Doesn't look a lot, does it?
It doesn't look as many as last year, but it's the juice quantity that counts.
Halfway through the harvest, and Rob and Steve don't have as many grapes as they were expecting. Will they really meet their ambitious target?
Oh.
In Benidorm, siblings Sunil and Dina's husband Martin have made a drastic decision. They've shut their restaurant after an unsuccessful opening.
What we've decided to do is close for about 3 or 4 weeks just to make sure that we can get our branding right. We're having some artwork done, we're redoing the menu designs, make sure that we're the place that everybody wants to come in September.
Step 1. New artwork for the walls, done by local illustrator Beverly Ambridge. Her designs are based on traditional henna patterns.
Really, really pleased with that. Really amazing.
To hopefully add the wow factor.
Yeah, we're getting there, slowly. Slowly, surely we're getting there. It's quite a big project, but once it's done, it's going to look absolutely fantastic. And hopefully it's going to make them a lot more busier and a lot more people are going to come in and hopefully they're going to make lots of money, which is the idea.
Beverly labours through the night and by the following day, she's done.
That looks so good.
Chuffed with it.
I really like it. It's Indian without being too in your face. It's subtle.
Classy.
It's classy.
Next on the list is the menu, because the concept of Indian food served tapas style seems to be confusing some of the customers in Benidorm.
Normally, if I went to a tapas bar, I would say that you would order maybe 3 to 4 dishes each. But here, I think people wouldn't really be willing to do that. I think it's beyond their comprehension.
A lot of the customers that have come to us treat it like an Indian restaurant. So come in and go, can we have this?
But brother and sister aren't seeing eye to eye on the menu.
I think we should get rid of the 2 tapas one, because that's just pointless.
Why though? Because if 2 people came...
No, as in like 2 tapas items.
They can't agree about the size of the dishes.
And the portions are slightly, ever so slightly bigger.
Yeah, but we've already started doing that.
Not that long.
Yeah, we did. We've been doing it for about 2 weeks.
We haven't.
Or the prices.
Well, part of it,
I'm just
you
talking
understand?
about the customers. I do understand.
Well, obviously not.
Whichever way, the prices are going up, so...
We do have our ups and downs, which is natural, because it's a very stressful environment.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every brother and sister has a falling out, but, you know, within an hour we'll be like best friends again. And Martin always says that. He goes, you two argue, but you're like best friends the next half an hour later.
They love each other, you know, they're really good friends as well.
Family row over, step 3 of the revamp is a brand new sign. And what better way to make the bar stand out than with letters 4 foot high?
There was not much indication of what we actually did. So now we have like the bar and grill just in a big font, which is great.
It's clean, it's concise, it's very contemporary, so it goes to the rest of the bar. Really, really pleased with it, actually.
At a cost of €500, this is the final piece of the jigsaw for the revamp. Martin, Sunil and Dina are now ready to relaunch. But will all their efforts actually pay off? Dan and Jody have invested their life savings in their carp fishing business in southwest France, where they live with their 2 young daughters.
I'm 4 and I'm 2.
So far, this season has been a great success, with satisfied holidaymakers staying in their lodges. But there's no doubt about it, the fish here play a huge part.
Cheers, beast. Everyone's just smashed their PBs, so happy days. Same time next year.
Yeah.
Any new business is a gamble, but with a fishery, there is always one unspoken threat that hangs in the air.
My main worry is always going to be the fish dying.
It takes one disease or one farmer to spray the wrong chemical on adjacent fields, and you could have a huge, extremely expensive problem that we have no guard against it, with no insurance against it. They won't insure against it.
It's now August, and that nightmare scenario could become a reality. An algae has started spreading across the lake, which could wipe out every fish they own.
All the green there, that's all algae.
Some of their carp are so big they're worth tens of thousands of pounds each, so to lose even a small fish is a huge setback. To lose them all could be the end of their dream.
It's at the end of August now, so we have to cancel all September and October's bookings. You know, it must be getting up towards 100,000, I would imagine, that you'd have to come up with, which, you know, I haven't got in my back pocket.
To attack the algae before it poses a threat, Dan has spent £2,000 on an ultrasonic device that sends a pulse into the water. It needs an aerator too to keep the oxygen flowing.
There we go. Been thinking about the machine for ages, but to come up with that money out of thin air is quite difficult.
But it might not be problem solved. There's always a chance the machine could cause an oxygen crash that could actually kill the fish.
I'll be down here all the time checking the oxygen levels and checking the pH of the water to make sure everything's okay. But it's just a case of wait and see and just wait if the algae disappears.
To make matters worse, angling journalist Ken Townley is due for another visit. He's just posted a great review, but the algae could spoil everything.
He's not a big fan of algae, so I'm hoping that it's all sort of gone before he comes. Otherwise he won't be a happy chappy.
It's almost 3 weeks later. Journalist Ken is on his way to the lakes.
It is going. It's going a little bit slower than I expected. The smell that was there before, that's completely gone. So the lake is looking a lot better. The fish seem to be happier, so the machine seems to be working.
Dan's hoping Ken will have advice on how to tackle the algae.
If he sees a problem, he'll tell you, and you know, which is good for us because we always welcome constructive criticism, but at the same time, we don't want things to be wrong as soon as he turns up. So.
Expert angler Ken wastes no time in getting down to assess the lakes.
The worst thing that can happen is if you get a situation where you've got huge temperature drop, like in a thunderstorm, for instance. All the algae dies, and as it dies, it takes all the oxygen out of the water, and all the fish die as well.
Ken soon finds evidence of the effect it's having on the freshwater shellfish.
This is what blue-green does. That's a swan mussel shell. They just die off in their droves. They form a major part of the carp's diet.
It's a worrying sign.
If people aren't catching fish, they're not going to want to come back. That's the fundamentals of the business.
Will all Dan's work in trying to eradicate the algae simply go to waste? In Benidorm, the relaunch of Dina and Martin's Indian tapas restaurant is just days away. So after spending €1,000 on their new image, they are going all out with marketing to get people in.
Hi, can we give you a flyer for a party on Friday? We're opening a new bar. It's really important for us to get the flyers out. Where we're located is more of a destination place where people may come if they want to go for a meal, and if they see our bar, then hopefully they'll like it. Oh, we've got a bar that's literally just down the road. We're opening a new bar.
Nice one.
Yeah, brilliant. See you later.
Despite all their grafting, as opening night arrives, the trio can't hide their concerns.
I suppose the biggest fear that we could have is that we'll have no customers turn up.
If it is, it's a party for 3. We've invited loads of people. People have said they're coming. We'll have to see what happens.
Tonight, it's a bit of a worry. We've got to reopen anyway. We've got to start getting some cash back in.
As evening sets in, Benidorm's streets spring to life with plenty of potential customers ready for a night out on the town. It's time for Team Noir to put on their glad rags too.
Might be a bit over the top for Benidorm, but what's over the top in Benidorm?
Now it's time to find out if the restaurant's new look will do the trick.
You're right for drinks at the minute, yeah? Cool.
Soon the first few people drift in ready for their free champagne. And then within an hour, The bar is the busiest it's ever been.
We'll have to do it in 2 seconds.
Dina and Martin are rushed off their feet.
We're not used to like working behind the bar. As you can see, I'm not down there.
In the kitchen, Sunil is cooking up some special dishes to serve as a free buffet. And now they're ready to serve to the hungry clientele. So it's time for Dina to take to the floor.
Hello everybody, can I just grab your attention for 2 seconds? Thank you so much for coming to the grand opening, and we've got some free food at the back over there, so if you fancy trying some of our delightful Indian tapas, feel free, it's just at the back over there. Thank
The relaunch appears to have been a success.
Good Indian tapas, nice music and a good atmosphere really. I think it's nice, it's a place that people will come.
The owners make you feel really welcome, they're really at home, they work behind the bar, it's their business, they love their business, their love is in their food.
By the end of a very long night, the reopening has gone better than they dared to hope.
For us it's a success because there's so many people here and everybody seemed to like it. So a really successful night, so we're really pleased.
Personally, I feel really happy. There was a lot of happy people here, which makes me happy.
I'm feeling great. This has been a really good night. There's been loads of people in. I've been rushed off my feet. I haven't had a break. I'm starving. I haven't had anything to eat. Got a load of clean up to do, which is a bit annoying. Don't really want to do that. But, you know, it's been a great night. Really good.
A few weeks later, and after more successful nights, the family are feeling more optimistic.
2 words that can describe Benidorm is cheap, cheerful, and people want value for money here.
My preconception was that if I opened a really nice spa here, people would want to come in because it's a nice environment. But actually, we found the opposite.
We've had to change so many things, but we're adapting to the environment that we're in.
And despite their dream almost slipping away at the start of the season, they're now confident their new business is a going concern.
It is going to work, and it will work. The branding, I think we've got spot on. We could have a chain of these restaurants across Costa Blanca, and then we'll be selling franchises.
At Dan and Jody's fishing lake, angling journalist Ken Townley is coming to the end of his 2-week stay. As well as holidaying here, he's been checking on the blue-green algae situation that could devastate this business.
When it's really bad, the algae can knock fishing completely on the head. When the algae dies, it dies almost as one. As it goes, it takes all the oxygen with it, and the fish, they can die en masse.
Dan's been treating the algae for several weeks, and now Ken's assessing how serious things are.
When I got here on Saturday, I had a walk around the lake, and what we found was an awful lot of algae. Hopefully, most of it will have died back. It was more evident in this bay, but it appears to have mostly dissipated. So I'm a lot more confident now. Nip it in the bud while you can, and that's what they've done.
Luckily, it seems the work Dan has been doing is paying off.
Properly treated, properly managed like Jody and Dan are doing, this will be gone in another 2 weeks.
Ken's assessment is great news for Dan and Jody. The algae isn't going to ruin their business, and it hasn't spoilt Ken's holiday.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
By the time they bid a fond au revoir to Ken and his wife, it's obvious they're becoming part of the family.
And I'm so good. Sad every time we leave Le Croix, but sadder than ever this time.
Come back soon.
I will if we can.
And with Ken on his way, it's back to business as usual for Dan and Jody. Andrew and Dan from Kent are checking in for a week's stay.
Wow, lovely. Do, mate? It does.
I don't think we've got enough space.
It's an open plan lounge diner, Wi-Fi, TV.
As the season draws to a close, Dan and Jody can reflect on a summer which has seen them open their second lake.
Your terrace?
Lovely.
Private garden, the sunsets, as you can tell, just down there.
Juggling a bigger business with a young family was a huge risk.
This is your lake for the week. I guess it's a case of chapter 1 complete, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels good to have some of the trepidation and what ifs behind us. And now it's just, what can we do next? How can we make it better? Come on, let's more, because now we've just got to keep on what we started.
Running a carp fishery is a far cry from their life back home in the UK.
I'm Arabella.
Good girl.
And I'm Vo.
Why can't you be that cute?
But Dan and Jody are certain this business is here to stay.
That was our big question, is can we do it? Have we got enough know-how, enough money, enough time to put into it to make it work?
I think it's been very successful.
I think with having been fully booked since we opened and having only 6 weeks left for the whole of next year, and we're only in September now.
Well, it's not even next year, is it? We're getting bookings for the year after that as well.
I think the answer is yes. How are you settling in?
Yeah, very nice, very peaceful here, isn't it?
And now I'm a
It's beautiful,
puppet.
isn't it? Yeah, I think we're on the right track. I think, yes, we've done it.
At Clovier Rocher, the first batch of grapes are back at the wine cellar, and the process of turning them into liquid is well underway.
The colour of the juice is already quite red.
But the colour's there, that's good already. I'm just inspecting the joints to make sure there's no leaks.
The first tractor load contained Cabernet Franc grapes, but they have collected much less than they expected. Rob's worried they won't surpass the last harvest.
I'm not sure how good we're going to be compared to last year. It's always the worry. It'd be nice to think that what we had done over this last 12 months had actually improved our quantity of grapes this year. So fingers crossed.
But winemaking is not just about quantity. The quality of the grapes are vital too. And now wine consultant Serge has arrived to check the juice using a very scientific method.
Good acidity.
I'll take your word for it.
Sugar and acidity. Équilibre.
That's really nice, actually, as a grape juice. You could happily down a glass of that.
As they harvest the other section of the vines...
Is your bucket full?
No.
Can you come and take some of mine, because I've overfilled it, I can't carry it.
OK.
Steve and Rob make sure they don't miss a single bunch.
When you're looking at thousands of acres, missing a few isn't a big deal, but for us, it soon becomes a noticeable quantity. Only another 20 rows to go. That first load going into the tank, I started doubting whether we had kind of put enough work in to get a better harvest than last year. I'm hoping my fears were unfounded, and we actually have got that quantity that I was hoping we would achieve.
The second section of their vines produce Merlot grapes.
C'est joli ça, la vendange est mûre, c'est joli, il n'y a pas de... C'est très très joli.
And things are looking up.
It just shows the difference that this area, basically they're nice, big, plump, and we get a slightly better result from this side. But it all goes together, makes a good wine, and if Serge thinks it's grape caviar, that's all right by us.
The last batch of grapes picked by the machine are now being processed.
Oh, the pump.
Along with the skins, which will give the red wine its colour and flavour.
Money, money.
And as Rob continues his search for any extra bunches, Steve has some news.
The vat's full.
The vat's full?
Yeah.
So if the vat's pretty much full, could be a good one.
This is an amazing achievement. Rob and Steve think they might just beat last year's yield.
The last one, precious cargo.
After 5 hours hard graft, they've harvested 6,000 bottles of juice, a third more than last year.
Harvest finished.
Grapes are all collected in, all
Good
in
quantity.
the vat.
Helped by the 100 buckets they picked by hand.
One day you might be drinking that.
To be that full, it's a little bit of a surprise, yeah. So, good harvest. Very pleased.
Yes.
Worth the wait.
Despite having no experience, these novice winemakers have proven that hard work and determination goes a long way.
It's very easy before you come here to have a romantic sense of winemaking, that it'll be easy and there isn't a huge amount of hard work involved with it, but it's quite the reverse.
Why couldn't we just have opened a flower shop?
Because you can't arrange flowers.
Oh, that's true. The results are in and they're good. Our vat is full. Our harvest is up a third on last year. So we're pretty smug about it, aren't we?
Happy days.
The boys did good.
Les Anglais sont bons.
A year ago, Rob and Steve decided to embark on a journey many would only dream about.
I smell cabbage patch, peeled potatoes.
Smell grapes.
Not only have they grown a bumper crop, they've renovated their own beautiful house, begun work on their 4 holiday cottages, and sold plenty of wine. This is definitely a business for the future.
I'm proud of what we've achieved.
There's lots of people, this would be an unreachable dream for them, and we're living it.
Big mistake, wasn't it, this?
Oh, we should never come here.
Oh, own wine, beautiful view, smashing house.
You have to suffer this excellent wine.
It's a chore.
Yeah, it is.
A nice place to end up, eh?
Beautiful.
In Benidorm, Noir stayed open through the autumn and is now getting ready for what they hope will be a busy and successful second season. At the fishing lake, both lodges are almost fully booked for next summer, and Chris Tarrant is also coming back. And at Rob and Steve's vineyard, the new wine is fermenting and they'll continue selling at fairs in the summer, and they're also expecting their first gîte guests. Next time, a family foursome face an uphill battle to realise their business dream.
It's like we were sacking off everything home in the UK, completely going bonkers.
But are they dreaming too big?
Any emotion of like leaving home is kind of being replaced by anxiety.
A husband and wife team take the plunge and buy a new diving venture. But have they left it too late?
His flight is to the Dominican Republic this evening.
Oh, I thought it was Monday. No, in serio?
And after a lifetime spent locking up criminals, will these former coppers ever adapt to civilian life?
A different weapon of choice than I'm used to. Still yellow, like the taser was.
A new life in Europe, a dream chased by thousands.
I don't really think you can better it.
It's just amazing living in Spain.
With sunny days and a great way of life, it's easy to see why. But this doesn't come for free.
To come up with that money out of thin air is quite difficult.
So to fund this life,
Oh my God.
expats are setting sail
He's out. He's gone.
and setting up businesses.
There's mushrooms growing on the wall.
Okay.
On this series, we follow a fresh group of expats.
Every day's like this at the minute, it's just non-stop.
Run, run, run.
launching paragliding and restaurants in Spain.
I think there's a future in this for us.
B&Bs and villas in France.
Look at that, like a Ferrari toilet.
But will it be profitable?
There was a lot of happy people here.
Or simply painful?
I want a piece of Spain, not a piece of Chernobyl.
And can the new expats really make their new life in the sun pay?
Job well done.
I'm so happy.
On today's show.
Jim, how are we actually going to get out of here?
Have you got your phone with you?
No.
A family foursome face an uphill battle to realise their business dream.
It's like we were sacking off everything home in the UK, completely going bonkers.
But are they dreaming a bit too big?
Any emotion of like leaving home is kind of being replaced by anxiety. Emotion is leaving and anxiety is coming in at an alarming rate at the moment.
A husband and wife team take the plunge and buy a new diving venture. But have they left it too late?
His flight is to the Dominican Republic this evening.
Oh, I thought it was Monday. No, en serio?
And after a lifetime spent locking up criminals,
Had a dream that I'd bought a B&B in Spain and quit my job in England.
will these former coppers ever adapt to civilian life?
A different weapon of choice than I'm used to. Still yellow, like the taser was.
High in the Andalusian hills and towering over the Mediterranean Sea lays Compita, population 3,459. Time seems to have stopped in this ancient Roman town. Locals still proudly practice many of the century-old traditions typical of this part of southern Spain, including the production of muscatel wine celebrated yearly with a big summer festival.
It's more like sherry.
Very sweet, very sweet.
People from many different nationalities now call this place home, including Graham and Joe Hepper, who met in prison in London.
We met at work, both police officers.
Yeah, I wasn't a suspect. Believe it or not.
We're both police officers. We were on separate teams, but you do attachments to units where you process prisoners. And we were both doing an attachment to that unit. So we just sort of hit it off from there, really, didn't we?
Graham and Joe have given back their handcuffs, put their house up for sale and are using the cash to buy a B&B in the village.
See, I love the fact that this is part of our working day now. We're waiting to go and see the bank manager.
Yeah,
having coffee and cake in the square. It's just amazing.
La Vista has been owned and run for the last 2.5 years by Swedish couple Mats and Natalie, who are selling up to move back to Stockholm.
Hola! Hola, mi niña!
La Vista dates back 200 years, so the 4 rooms to let have a small and simple rustic charm. Graham and Joe are putting everything they have into their new venture. The sale of their English home will pay for half of the guest house, and they're planning to mortgage the rest. But after years of dealing with the criminal side of life, the transition to Civvy Street isn't going to be easy.
In some ways, it's actually quite similar.
Just opposing ends of the customer service spectrum.
In this case, you're kind of hoping that people go away happy, whereas inevitably people go away not very happy, having dealt with them as a police officer.
Yeah. There's less remit for me to throw people to the floor and handcuff them.
Yeah,
I've found.
Definitely happens less.
3 weeks before the takeover, with Joe back in England, Graham is learning the ropes from current owners Mats and Natalie.
But we also have one room also that we're going to make the bed and clean. It should be very easy for you.
We'll see.
Graham might have handed in his badge and gun, but the notebook is staying firmly in his hand.
Usually, before I clean this part, I vacuum clean it before because it's dry.
Now we're getting straight in my notebook.
Yeah.
Vacuum the shower.
Yeah.
This former copper and his wife have a lot to learn before they take over the business in 3 weeks' time.
I think it's sinking in that the complete change from walking the streets of London to walking the streets of Compita.
the region of Tarrant in southwest France. An area famous for its deep gorges, rolling hills, lush forests and picture-perfect medieval fortified villages. The region has just acquired 4 new English residents, attracted by the laid-back nature of the local population.
Back home, my hair attracts a lot of attention, my appearance attracts a lot of attention, but like here, you can just be yourself and it's not a problem.
This is the most beautiful thing you've ever said.
Oh no, it's really
I'm
important
almost
to me.
tearful.
In the country that gave the world the Tour de France, Mel, her older sister Charlotte, and their husbands Jim and Marcus from Coventry have decided to give up their office jobs to launch a bespoke business offering cycling holidays.
And I just realised that this area was just incredible for cycling. And I just never knew anything like it. And I was hooked immediately. And I just suddenly thought, if we're going to do something, maybe there's an opportunity for us to base something around cycling, bring people to this amazing area.
Cycling holidays for Brits are on the rise, on the back of a massive explosion in cycling. In 2014, British people cycled a total of 3.5 billion miles, an increase of 13% in the space of just a year.
And it's just perfect, like the weather's gorgeous, the terrain is gorgeous, the roads are great. It's early, but there's hardly anyone around. What more could you want, really?
The foursome are so confident in their project that they're selling their own houses to buy this €370,000 18th century farmhouse, situated just a few minutes outside the hamlet of Espinaz. They plan to live in the main house while the guest quarters will be in the old barn.
Everything's at stake, you know, we've quit salaried positions at home, you know, so there's no monthly income, and that is a worry.
For now, there's a lifetime to pack up in the UK for Charlotte and Marcus before they head to France.
Indian curry will sorely missed, I think. Hence why we're guarding all of these spices, even though they're half open.
Yeah.
The idea being that we have to go to Toulouse to get a curry is worrying me slightly.
Having just sold their 2-up 2-down terraced house in Coventry, they're making the final preparations to leave.
I already feel a bit homesick and I haven't even left yet.
But their business partners Jim and Mel are one step ahead, having already arrived in France yesterday.
Very tired and a little bit shell-shocked, to be honest. We've been here before, obviously many times, but to actually be knowing that we're staying here is quite a difference to just being on holiday.
They need to get on with the renovations so that the old barn will be ready to welcome their first guests in just 7 weeks' time.
Any emotion of leaving home is kind of being replaced by anxiety. Emotion is leaving and anxiety is coming in at an alarming rate at the moment.
Will Marcus, Jim, Charlotte and Mel pull off their dream of a new life in the sun? The Costa del Sol. Its many resorts have been popular among British tourists since the 1960s. Each year, millions of Brits visit the area. Situated just a stone's throw from the Atlantic Ocean, its waters are rich in sea life, and 2 Brits have made it their business to take tourists exploring the underwater world. Former BBC radio journalists Simon and Natasha Bell left London in 2004, and they've been successfully living and working near Torremolinos along with their son Ruben.
Okay, Ruben, you ready? You have to shout, ropes away!
Ropes away!
That's it! Hold on, you ready? People sometimes say, don't you get bored going to the same places all the time? You say, well, where do you work? And they say, oh, I work in telemarketing or in a bank. And I say, and you got the same desk? How long have you had that desk? about 6 or 7 years. And I say, okay, imagine this, coming to this every single day, you know?
Natasha and Simon have been so successful that last year they set up a second shop in nearby Marbella.
Mission success! The number one rule of scuba diving is never pee in your wetsuit.
The move was a success, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Simon's plans to expand into Gibraltar have been put on hold to the relief of wife and accountant Natasha.
You know, I just knew it wasn't a good move. But, you know, I know Simon still talks about it as an ongoing project. He can continue to talk about it as an ongoing project, because in his mind it's ongoing. I know it isn't.
But that hasn't stopped Simon's ambitions to expand. And this year, Natasha and Simon have agreed to carry out their next expansion a bit closer to home.
So this is what we're acquiring.
They're buying up a rival dive centre in Marbella from Cuban expat Gilbert Zamora, who set up shop 10 years ago and has had a monopoly on Spanish divers.
We're now going to be the only dive centre in the whole of Marbella, because Gilbert and his operation were the only competitors. ¿Pero funciona?
By buying out Gilbert's business for €5,000, Simon and Natasha hope to appeal to Spaniards with a passion for diving.
We've definitely been missing out on it, whereas Gilbert had completely, or pretty much 100% of the Spanish market, because he's been here for 10 years.
And as well as attracting more of the 6.5 million Spaniards who visit the region each year, Simon will acquire 10 years' worth of exploration of the sea done by Gilbert's dive centre, which will open up more exciting business possibilities.
Look at all those dive sites there. There's 45 dive sites on there, and I think we know about 9 of them.
The season is about to kick off, so Natasha is desperate to make the sale official, but Simon and Gilbert have left it to the last minute to find a legal notary who will witness the two parts exchanging contracts.
I think if I didn't do this, no one else would. They're just so slapdash, the pair of them. And Gilbert's just gone into...
Obviously send it directly to your sister.
Porque no tienen notario hasta el lunes.
Okay.
See? Oof. Okay, so they haven't got any notaries available now until Monday.
Time's fast running out, as in 10 hours Gilbert will fly off to the Caribbean.
We might end up going from notary to notary to notary until we find one. And now I'm worried a little bit because it is...
Well, because his flight is to the Dominican Republic this evening.
Oh, I thought it was Monday.
No, it's today. That's why we're doing it right now. He's got to fly tonight, so we need this signed today.
With just a few hours to spare before Gilbert jets off to the Caribbean, will Simon and Natasha manage to seal the deal before the start of the season? The tranquil Tarn-et-Garonne region in France, where sisters Charlotte and Mel and their husbands, Marcus and Jim, hope to start a new life in the sun from this 18th century farmhouse in the village of Espinaz.
We have left behind our lives in the UK entirely.
That's finished. That period of our lives is over, isn't it? And this is like a new phase now.
Charlotte and Marcus are still tying up loose ends in the UK, while Mel and Jim have been tasked with managing the safe delivery of both couples' belongings.
They have pre-warned us to expect a very, very full lorry.
And while this very full articulated lorry had no problem at all negotiating the streets of Coventry, it's not having quite the same success this deep into the French countryside.
I feel a lot better once this day's over, and you know we can hold this against Charlotte Marcus for like, I don't know, ever.
The lorry has been blocking the road for the last 10 minutes. Not the best icebreaker with their neighbours.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Désolé.
The locals aren't too impressed.
Est-ce que quand le camion est engagé, on peut pas laisser passer 2 minutes les voitures?
I think he's asking whether we've got 2 minutes. Lucky, he's on it.
Woo! Right, just straighten
Awesome.
up now. Straight,
Just straighten up.
Straighten up, straighten up. Wow, what is this stuff that they've got there?
All I can see in there is just trash. What Charlotte and Marcus put in there? What's all that? I'm slightly concerned that they really have just fly tipped.
Time to empty the skip, the lorry. Let the unpacking commence.
I'm glad it started. The anxiety's now gone, and it's just the pain and the anguish of lugging stuff.
And with all their belongings finally here, it's the start of the dream for these two couples.
Worked very, very hard to get this, and we've still got lots and lots of hard work ahead of us.
With some paying guests arriving, you know, in the short term that is a bit of a worry, but I think we're excited.
I think we're excited.
With just 6 weeks to go until the first guests arrive, Mel and Jim need to finish work on their accommodation and clear up their 7 acres of land, which has become overgrown.
Oh, here's some of the thistles that were as big as me. See, that's pretty special. That's a huge thistle.
The two couples will live in the main house, but the guest accommodation will be situated in 2 separate buildings. The barn conversion will have 4 ensuite bedrooms, yet to be completed, and needs a brand new kitchen.
The deadline is looming, so Marcus and I are going to have to put the kitchen in really quick.
The small cabin is specifically geared for hosting couples. That is, if they can even get to it.
What I need right now is like a machete, like I'm in the jungle.
For now, just use your wellies. That's probably.
It's like a dance move. How's it looking in here?
It's not bad. It's good actually. It has remained, by the looks of things, watertight. So it's hopefully going to be a little bit of a boutique cabin.
A romantic hideaway.
Romantic hideaway, yes, because we've got a hot tub to go with it as well.
Now these two just need to find their way back before Charlotte and Marcus arrive.
Jim, how are we actually going to get out of here?
Have you got your phone with you?
No.
Oh, it's a shame.
Marbella doesn't do anything by halves, and that's certainly true of its beaches, with 24 of them streaking their way across a 17-mile stretch, and many of them awarded the prestigious blue flag status. But it's not relaxing for everyone. British expat Simon Bell is buying up the only rival dive centre in town from owner Gilbert. But he's in a tense race to get the legal papers signed before his colleague flies off to the Caribbean.
No, ¿en serio?
But they've left it too late, and it's bank holiday weekend in Spain, which means that there isn't a notary public in sight to witness the exchange of contracts.
Well, we've run out of time. What we're going to do is take care of the main business, and we're going to sign the paperwork a little bit later when Gilbert comes back from the Caribbean. But we've worked with him long enough, and we trust each other, so this bit can be done in a couple of weeks' time.
They may not have been able to complete the sale, but informally at least, Simon is now the owner of Gilbert's dive centre.
Aquí tienes, Gilbert. Gracias. Gracias a ti. A little bit strange, actually. A little bit weird. No? Does it feel a little bit weird?
No, it feels natural and organic, and I'm not stressed. I'm happy.
No, I'm certainly not stressed. I'm a little bit nervous in the fact that we were busy last year.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous about the expansion in interest.
Need some more team members.
And a new boat.
And Spanish speaking.
And new equipment.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And
now we're going on into buying things again. Oh my goodness.
But there's one thing that thrifty accountant Natasha has allowed Simon to splash the cash on. To cope with their rise in customers, they've increased the number of instructors to a total of 11, running 2 dive centres 30 miles apart. What used to be a small family-run business has turned into a big operation.
5 in Marbella and, blimey, 6 here in Torremolinos. It's really important to keep in your mind that we're all little cogs in a very big machine. If one of those gets stuck or jammed,
or doesn't quite operate as smoothly as the others, the whole machine starts to falter, okay? Even on the days where there's a lot of stress, as there will be, especially as we get busier, is keep the smile on for the customers, and if you need to, go around the back and scream into the wetsuits around the back there, yeah?
But Simon might have to take his own advice there about dealing with stress. Just a week later, as the Marbella shop fills with clients, one of the diving instructors has suddenly quit his job.
We lost an instructor who's been with us for 3 years. The timing was very difficult for us because it was just as the season is starting, when we need as many people as possible. The staff are having less time off and feeling a little bit sorry for them. They're really being pushed to their absolute limits.
While Simon looks for a new instructor, he's decided to take a gamble on one of his youngest team members, Courtney, who joined Simply Diving last year as a trainee and has now qualified as an instructor.
Courtney's, along with Patricia, they're our two chief of staff, if you like, our two main instructors here. They're basically running the show.
Like this, your lift out, that's it. Good, Skywalker. I'm your father.
Good. First step is holding the compass properly, right? Very good.
Courtney and Patricia are taking out one of their first groups of tourists this season.
Yep, off we go.
To explore the waters outside Marbella's fishing port. This stretch of water is rich in sea life, and marine biologist Courtney has managed to find the favourite hiding place of Matilda the conger eel, and Tito the octopus, and a colony of seahorses.
I always argue that being underwater, going scuba diving, is kind of like a safari. You never really know what you're going to find.
I'm very excited of it. Always wanted to do it my entire life. It's another world below it that you don't know about until you go down.
With happy customers all round, it looks like promoting Courtney was a good move by Simon. But after her successful dive, there's bad news for Simon when his right-hand man Vinny turns up.
How you doing?
Hello, Vinny. Decided to show up then?
Yeah, I thought I'd better come in and do a couple of hours.
Half day today, yeah?
I need 5 minutes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What now?
Oh, nothing major.
Oh dear, I hate it when staff say that.
I need 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I hate it when staff say that. It's obviously not because they want to tell me some good news, is it?
And unfortunately, Simon's right. Ex-chef Vinny has decided to accept a more lucrative full-time job. This means that this will be his last day of work at Simply Diving.
He needed to be more sure of full-time employment out of season, and that's something that we can't do in this diving industry here on the Costa del Sol, is we do not have a 12-month season. It was just something that he had to go and do and look after himself, and that's what people have to do. They have to look after themselves at the end of the day.
At the start of the season, Simon is now 2 men down. With the Marbella business doubled in size, how will he cope this year? Compita, southern Spain. Whitewashed houses have been sitting on this mountainside for hundreds of years.
This is nice to be by the... When you think, oh, you're moving to Andalusia, you think beaches, and we're obviously in mountain.
Ex-police officers Graham and Joe Hepper are in the process of selling up their house in England to buy this 4-bedroom B&B in Compita. It's the end of May, and Graham left Joe behind in England to come and get vital training on how to run La Vista by its current owners, Mats and Natalie.
Yeah, I slept well. Woke up a few times thinking, had a dream that I'd bought a B&B in Spain and quit my job in England. Yeah, just really looking forward to doing it for real now.
Would you like to serve me breakfast today, or?
I watched you do it first.
Okay, yeah.
Customers Gary and Mark arrived last night and are meeting with friends who live in the area. And Graham is already struggling with the tea run.
Would you like tea or coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee? Sorry, 1 tea and 1 coffee. 2 coffees. 2 coffees. I'm going to be rubbish at this.
Oh, Graham. 3 flights of stairs later, he's back.
I think you're going to get fit working here.
You will.
Anything else I can get you?
We've got some milk there.
Yeah, milk, sugar.
Okay, super.
If there's anything you need, just yell. Enjoy.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday again.
Thank you.
In less than a week, this will be a full-time job for Graham and his wife Jo, and with bookings coming up, they will have to adapt quickly.
Graham's doing very well, considering it's his first day. You know, I think he was a police officer, wasn't he? So, bit of a different career, but why not? I think he'd be a natural.
Right, that's breakfast sorted. Now on with the chores. Graham and Jo will need to tidy up and change rooms on a daily basis.
A different weapon of choice than I'm used to. Still yellow, like the taser was, but I think I'll be using that more in anger than I was and in my previous equipment.
Time for perfectionist Mats to check Graham's work.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you, boss.
I think you can manage.
Thanks. have I got the job?
Yeah, you got the job.
In the next week, this pool, the terraces, the rest of the building becomes Jo and I's, including the view. I think the more jobs Mats has me doing, the quicker it sinks in.
So this is Graham. He's
Hello.
the one who
Hi.
will
Hi.
take over the place.
I'll take your bags for you. Thank you. I'll shake your hand afterwards.
The first thing to do when guests arrive is show them round the 5 different rooftop terraces La Vista has to offer.
They're amazing views from here, aren't they?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very nice up here.
Yeah. Can I have a quick look at the pool?
Yes.
Yeah. You can comment on my scrubbing if you like. I'm sure I've missed lots of bits. Yeah.
Graham might have learned a lot from Mats and Natalie.
If there's anything you need, just ring on the bell.
But how will he cope when they're running their new business on their own? In the Tarn-et-Garonne region of southwest France, Charlotte and Marcus have finally joined Mel and Jim at their stunning new property, As-Plos.
I see you've come dressed for the occasion, guys. Inappropriate footwear.
That's not unlike you two.
We're not lifting.
We tell you which rocks.
I don't think we need direction. We need like donkey work. We need people
No,
to
I'm not.
pass
I
us.
can't donkey walk with that. Walk.
Donkey walk. Great.
1, 2, 3.
The two couples plan on starting a cycling holiday business from their new house and have to get the place ready for their first guests in 5 weeks.
Yeah, thanks guys. That's been really
yeah.
useful. Thank you.
Thanks very much
Thanks
for
for your support.
absolutely no help at all.
So the foursome have started work on their huge property, with Jim and Marcus busy rebuilding a dry stone wall.
Hold on. Whoa. Oh mate, it's perfect.
Complete with an inbuilt seat to admire the view.
Can I get in there, mate?
I don't think there's enough room, mate.
I think there's
It's
enough
not that
room.
one.
No, it's
I
not,
could be at my right hand.
There's enough room.
God. Right, we're in.
That, mate, I think this is perfect.
I'm really happy with it. I think it works.
Yeah.
There's plenty still to do, with kitchens to fit, rooms to decorate and grass to mow, and once finished, the two couples plan to offer accommodation and cycling tours around the region to bike enthusiasts. But there's still time to visit the Tour de France, Marcus's favourite race.
It's the epitome of cycling for those who love the sport, but it's also the epitome for those who don't really love the sport so much and get to kind of show off and enjoy the kind of the carnival that happens when the tour comes through.
At the moment, Marcus is alone in his love for cycling, but he's hoping today will convert the others.
Oh, I've got my beret.
Jim seems more bothered about his wardrobe choices.
I have an extensive range of hats. This is my favourite one for wearing around here, which is like all the feathers.
The amount of people who will be there wearing all sorts of fancy dress, I think that you won't stand out in that at all.
That's a problem for me. I need to be able to stand out a little bit more. Now I've found the rest. Oh man, I've found some gloves. Brilliant, I've got cycling gloves.
Jim will certainly be needing those today, as in the spirit of things, all four have decided to cycle to watch the race. They're all heading for Saint-Émilion, a charming and peaceful town situated in the gorges of Aveyron. Riders from around the world will pass through these streets to compete in this annual race, which was first held in 1903. With the support procession filling the streets, there's a real carnival atmosphere. Charlotte, Mel, Jim and Marcus now have to find the perfect spot to watch the race.
What we really need now is a 3-kilometre climb.
Yeah, at least 3 Ks.
In the intense heat.
I am feeling very hot.
Yeah, the sweat's worth it. The sweat today of climbing that hill is worth it, even just for the view. But we're going to try and head for this corner, and I think we'll probably get a fairly good view down the road from there.
Yeah, this is like half an hour of exercise for 5 minutes of gain, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, that there.
Yeah.
Finally in position, the wait for the peloton is on.
To our first tour, live tour de France.
Cheers, guys.
Well done. Tour.
Yeah, one and only ever. Yeah, to the only tour off.
Finally, it's the moment they've been waiting for.
Here they are.
Here they are. Here they are.
Oh, it's amazing.
Where's it all gone? They were like there a minute ago and now they're just gone. That's it.
Wow, that is it.
That was an amazing spectacle, James. Don't you think? Is that it? Is that it?
Is that it? Has that happened?
Looks like Jim might need a bit more convincing to become a cycling convert. But with the success of their new business resting on it, hopefully he can get up to speed, and fast. In Marbella, it's the dawn of a new era for Simon Bell's diving centre.
Morning, team.
After buying out his only competitor, Simon has a monopoly on diving tours off this stretch of the Costa del Sol, and that means loads more customers to deal with for him and his accountant wife Natasha.
8 o'clock, and I've already missed 3 voicemail messages from Natasha.
Simon has lost 2 of his long-serving instructors, so he's had to hire in dive master Danilo and seasoned instructor Duncan for the day.
Everybody have suit and fins?
Yeah. What? Suit, fins and boots, mask, snorkels, yes?
And today is an important day for Simon's new crew. They've been asked to do a feature story for one of the UK's biggest diving magazines about diving on the Costa del Sol. British divers make up the majority of Simon's clients, so they need to pull off an impressive underwater photo shoot.
So we're going back to the SS Manapier, our big First World War wreck, just off the coast of Fuengirola. We have a special photo shoot going on with our Patricia's model. We have a couple of paying customers with us who are coming for fun.
Simon's friend Phil, an experienced diver and underwater photographer, has been drafted in to take the pictures, but he's worried about the conditions.
The biggest problem that you can suffer is if you get a lot of sediment in the water, so you get backscatter. And the best way to the best analogy for that is to imagine that if you're driving along and you drive in a blizzard and you put the 4 beams on, yeah, and then you can't see anything because of the light reflecting off the snow, and that's what will scupper it for us.
And ever the diplomat, Simon used a simple method for choosing Patricia to model for the photo shoot.
She knows the wreck, she knows what to do, and I'm staying on the boat. Courtney's busy, so third choice wins.
Such a gentleman. Last year's expedition to the shipwreck started with a disaster when the van Vinny was driving went bang.
You've got to be kidding.
So Simon's hoping for a much more successful outing today.
Okay, Patricia, let's try here, please. Where's it going? Good. That's where I want it to go.
I might want to try and get a picture of the coral with you behind, yeah? So I may ask you to come in, so I might just say either to swim in, or I may ask you to look a certain direction, okay?
The published article in one of the UK's biggest diving magazines will be a great chance for Simon to showcase what the Costa del Sol has to offer to British divers.
There's nothing better than some good quality photos and videos. And we really want to promote this wreck as, even though it's for advanced divers only, that it's here and that it attracts people who, you know, might not want to go as far as the Red Sea for a nice big shipwreck. They can come here and do this one.
The upper part of the 99-year-old shipwreck is 37 metres below sea level, which will take the divers 2 minutes to swim down to.
OK, off you go then, Patricia.
Once down at the wreck, Phil has only a 17-minute window in which to get the best photographs before they run out of air. The Menapia sank in 1917 after it hit another ship just 30 miles short of its destination, Gibraltar.
The lovely thing about a wreck like this is because it does have a story. So it has that kind of history behind it, the fact that it's of its size, and it's so close to shore. When it smashed into the other boat, you probably even could have heard or seen it from the coast there, this almighty boom, and just watching this giant ship just sink beneath the surface. It must have been quite a sight, you know, and there it sits, just peacefully lying on the bottom for nearly 100 years, with just this lovely story behind it.
The wreck has created an artificial reef and is now home to all sorts of marine life, including the Dentex fish that can grow up to 1 metre long. And Simon is nervous to find out if Phil managed to capture any decent photos for the magazine.
How was it, okay?
This was just a couple of metres. It looks very blue here, but with the current that's coming through, it's disturbed the bottom. So it wasn't just dark, clear water, it was quite turbid. So got a lot of backscatter and adjusted it, but the current was washing us down the wreck as well. So I think we've got a few, but yeah, not the usual 150 or 200 I like to fire off.
Simon and his crew head straight back to the shore to see if Phil managed to get any usable photos in the difficult conditions.
Hey! Mate, they're lovely! Oh man! That's the best photos I've ever seen of the Menapia. Look at all the fish, all the antheas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Looks like you're coming through a big tunnel, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I still think there's a couple that we can send Phil. They're nice and moody, which is really nice. Because it is a bit moody down there, isn't it?
But will the magazine take the shots? And if it does, will Simon and his team be able to cope with any extra customers the publicity might generate? Cambridgeshire, England. A far cry from the sun-drenched hills and arresting views of Compita in southern Spain.
Come on, cat. Need that.
Where former police officers Joe and Graham Hepper are upping sticks and moving to for a new life and new business, running a traditional Spanish guest house.
It might seem like quite a impulsive thing to do, to quit our jobs and sell our house and move to another country to do something we've never done before, but actually we've researched it. We've had a business plan for the bank.
We have no home. We are transient. We're about to become migrants. For the first time in my life, I'm a migrant.
Today, they are loading up their belongings to leave their English home for good. But there's one little glitch. The sale of their home, which will allow them to finalise the purchase of their Spanish business, has not been resolved.
You haven't heard anything from solicitors anyway?
No, but I've emailed them, but I have had confirmation.
Of what?
If we transfer the money tomorrow,
yeah,
it will be in the Spanish bank account on Tuesday.
Sorry, what? Why is it not going to be there tomorrow or Monday?
Because if we send it tomorrow,
yeah,
it won't be there on Monday because Monday's bank holiday.
So they can show that they've got the funds in the bank account, so we can get the mortgage.
To buy the Spanish B&B, Graham and Joe will need the funds from the sale of their house by the end of the working day, or else the deal might fall through.
Solicitors have just got back to me. So long as they receive the funds from the buyer's solicitors before 3 p.m. today, she can get it over to me today.
Awesome balls.
Again, we are reliant upon other people, so that's fun.
That's 5 hours they have for the money to be transferred. Nothing left to do now but keep fingers crossed and get loading.
I don't want to push it too hard in case I push you backwards down the stairs.
That's all right, I've got it on my...
I feel like we could have turned this into a fun ride. Do I need to press a button?
Yeah, if you come around this side and hold it.
You saying you don't trust me to press the button?
I'm the button pusher.
Rather than paying international movers to shift their belongings, they've opted to rent a van themselves and drive all the way down to southern Spain.
Push. Keep going, keep going.
I can't because I've got no more space to walk forward into. It needs to go up, 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 up.
Keep pushing. Keep push.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine.
It's 2 o'clock. The van is loaded and the Heppers are all set to head off to sunny Spain.
It's Mrs. Hepper.
But they're still waiting to hear if the money from the sale of their house has gone into their solicitor's account.
We're waiting for completion, and I was really just calling to see if there was any movement with our buyer's solicitors in terms of the funds.
The clock is ticking. Will the money go through in time?
You're calling the solicitor again,
Yeah. See if she'll take my call this time.
Next time, ex-coppers Graham and Joe call for emergency roadside assistance.
A slight mishap in France.
Vanfie Bridge, Bridge 1.
A mix-up at the pump leaves Simon stranded.
We went to fill the boat up with a good 50 litres of petrol. Much to our surprise, we'd filled it up with 50 litres of fresh water instead.
With customers waiting, how will he cope?
I'm taking the boat back to them and, well, they're going to bloody fix it.
And in France, there's a quality control inspection.
Yeah, the glassless window is a bit of a problem for us at the minute.
Will Jim, Marcus, Charlotte and Mel complete their renovations on time?
We've got a pretty solid deadline, so
We've got 8 days
of guests arriving. So, loads to do, no time.